Creekside fam, what's going on? This is I shouldn't say my ultimate favorite, but one of my favorite days of the year is when the new Creekside Customs lands at the shop. I sprint over here as fast as I can. I take a bundle out and I immediately light one up. No matter if it's 100 degrees outside and they were sitting in a UPS truck for 4 days, or if it's freezing and they're ice cold. It doesn't matter. I know they'll get better as they acclimate, but this is my first smoke of the new production of the one that you guys got to kind of come into the blending process with me on. Made it the Cremo Cigar Factory in Miami. I haven't introduced the name to you all, so I'm gonna do it now. This is the Creekside Customs, the volume 1 for 2025 Belvadier. These are packed, as you can tell, in the same way that we received the samples. And the reason that I did this was I thought it was such a cool experience when I got to sample these cigars for the first time, and they, came in these little mini Cuban wheels that, we kind of all decided like that would be such a great way for each and every one of you to experience this cigar. And so that's what we did, because we can just do these things. The closed foot stayed, and so did the pigtail cap. So you get all these things. We'll, throw some cool looking photos, videos up on the screen for you guys. But what I'm gonna do is just light this thing up, give you first impressions, and tell you what blend it was that we ended up finalizing. So first things first, cut this sucker up, toss it on the floor. I'll sweep it later. I cut way too low because I was excited. And look guys, I used a cutter today. This is big moves for me. All right, I'm gonna toast up this closed foot. Man, I tell you what, I'm such a fan of a closed foot. I shouldn't even say fan, I'm a sucker for it. All right, couple deets on this blend. So if you guys were with us watching the blending process video we put together for this blend, there's 3 options. Ended up going with the first option, but made one change, and that was to up the amount of Ligero tobacco that was used in this blend. I intentionally, when we first put some blends together, kept the percentages of Ligero on the first blend pretty low. They're at 15%. And then Viso, which is the middle of the plant, was at 35%. And then a balance of the blend, so 50% was Nicaraguan Seco, which is the lowest part of the plant and generally the least amount of power. I really loved this cigar. It was baking spices, it was clean, it was not overpowering, but I wanted a little more. Not just to have these kind of like retrohale baking spice moments of cinnamon and clove and nutmeg, but a baseline of this kind of oaky breadiness. I still wanted that, but I felt like we could get more sweetness and more body and a little more liveliness, maybe even some pepper that comes in if we up the Ligero. So that's what we did when we smoked that blend with the Ligero amped up. It went up to 20%, kept Viso at 35, and then dropped the Seco by 5%. That little tweak made such a difference in this cigar. So I smoked it and we were like, yeah, this is it, put it into production. So this is really my first production version of Belvadier that I've smoked. So I'm taking a couple more puffs and I'll tell you kind of how we got to Belvadier. I'm enjoying this so much I don't even want to talk, I just want to smoke it. All right, so let's talk about Belvadier. We've been working with a really good buddy of mine, Logan J. Hill Design, check him out, on coming up with these unique brands for every customs release we do. So not just putting the customs brand on every single one, but really exploring these names that we come up with and the stories and how it affects the actual blend, and then putting identity to it. And so that's what you see with this band. We murdered it out, black on black. It's like a light gray, it's like a super dark gray over black so that you can still read it, because that is crucial, that you can read what the band says, or else the band is pointless. But we came up with this name Belvadier. It's a mashup of 2 words, Bel and Vadir, which mean beautiful and view. And so this whole idea was I wanted to make a cigar in Miami. It's one of my favorite things to do, is to be able to make cigars here in the US at these small Miami factories where you have these Cuban rollers where they don't work in pairs. They roll the individual cigars all by themselves. So Belvadier's production of about 1,750 cigars was rolled by one person in Calle Ocho on 8th Street at Cremo Cigars. And I, born and raised in South Florida, I think about how I love Cincinnati so much. I still think about the beautiful views that come with Miami, right? Totally different landscape. It's flat, lots of palm trees, sun and sand, and beautiful water. You guys know it. Just a totally different perspective than really anywhere else when you're down on a coastal region. And you think about cigars being this hub in Miami and them being made there. And it was like, how can we honor Miami and the fact that the cigar is made there and tell somewhat of a story? And so this idea of Belvadier, beautiful view, came up, and it's like, man, I love that name for a cigar. And then Logan worked his magic, took it to this like Art Deco, 1960, 1970 era design. And we put together this beautiful band that you're gonna get a chance to see when you smoke the cigar. And I don't know, the cigar just, it speaks to, you think about a beautiful view, you want a cigar that accompanies that, where you can sit down, relax, and enjoy the people you're with, the places you are. That's just what I think this cigar does. I lit it up again, and Chris, behind the cam, again says, dude, that cigar smells insane. And if we flash back to the first time we lit the cigar up, the smoke coming off of the foot of the cigar, the aroma is really bright and kind of candied, almost floral smelling. Really delicious so far. Granted, a slightly different version of this blend. The same thing was said. It literally, the room note of it smells different than any cigar. The profile off the bat is rich. Like, think like dark, like dulce de leche sweetness, but like with this dark fruit. There's some strength in there and some pepper, but it's still like medium bodied. Those baking spices that I loved in the retrohale are still there. Habano wrapper, Ecuadorian binder, and then the filler is all Nicaraguan. And I told you guys that's split between the Ligero, Viso, and the Seco, but it's just a beautiful blend. I'm very excited about this one, if you can't tell. Also, I need to clarify something, because the way that I said beautiful view with Miami and then went to Cincinnati, it made it seem like I liked Miami or South Florida more. That's not the case. I'm a Cincy guy, locked in. I signed my contract. Absolutely love this place, but did spend the majority of my life in Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. And so to be able to kind of honor that and build a brand and a cigar around that is pretty cool. And also, if we got any, April 7th, if we got any left, we got new Creekside merch coming out, so go check it out. All right, next time we sit down to talk customs, we're gonna do another blending video for our release that's coming out in the summer. It's already time for a new one. That is being made at a Nicaraguan factory. Can't wait to tell you more about that. And if you don't know, Customs, come along for the ride with us. Just a bunch of random people making cigars that we like with really cool factory partners. So thank you all for being here. Shout out to the whole Creekside fam. Make sure you check out our Discord. You'll see all the behind the scenes of making this. And our Patreon's available as well if you want to support the channel. Until next time, smoke a Belvadier in good company. We'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.